Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good weekend. It's August 11th. Happy Money Monday to you. I'm going to review the 0-day options today. I took today on SPY and the small account challenge we're working at. Pretty grindy day for a Monday. Kind of typical, I'd say, on a Monday, similar to how Friday was. Kind of rallied up and then grinded the rest of the day. Like a lot of retail gets trapped. Like to trap them on Friday, and then Monday they like to just give all those options some decay and then let them just expire worthless because of all the pent-up demand. Everyone's just going crazy. I think we have some data this week also. Let me see. How we check the data just on our Discord. Got a bot for it. It's pretty nice. I think we've got CPI. Yeah, PPI on Thursday. CPI tomorrow. So yeah, that could be part of the reason for the volume is maybe low, but just lack of move. On the 30-minute, we're still just in this big wedge. And yeah, today we just did a few trades and it was tight ranged for the most part, quite tight. Ivy's come back down, which is nice for me at least. I didn't take any trades in the beginning here. I did identify quite a bit of algos though, or channels or liquidity levels. What do we start with? White, purple, gold, this red one then. Right here I got that one. Resistance, flip to support. Here's its support. And then it turned out to be support there. Did kind of break through it, but still worked out. First trade, so let's see, we completed, okay, yes, that's right. We completed inverse cup, so I was like, okay, maybe handle, although there's liquidity up here for this inverse head and shoulder. So then it came up and completed the cup. Given this is a tight range, this whole thing could just be a shoulder later. But since it did complete that cup, I'm not sure if I'd green. I didn't have a green in there yet. And then, so then I'm kind of looking for a handle. Came down to VWAP, broke my purple, and I took a mental trade right here. Well, not here, actually here. Once that candle opened here, with a stop on this orange. I took calls just mentally. I actually put a limit order in, and it was at the bid, and I kind of just was fine to let it go. So I didn't get filled, and this would have been the trade right here. So, yeah, calls here. And then it came down and retested gold, so it wouldn't stop me out. And then, yeah, just taking quick profits on early candles is the way you win. So, big green candle, could have taken it here. Maybe I would have had green identified by then. If not, probably by this red candle, it would have been taking most profit out. Or just that, yeah, just one contract anyway. So, that would have probably been 15-20%. Not bad, but I didn't take it, which I'm fine with. I kind of have to protect my buying power with such a small account still. And I'm trading a cash account, but I kind of like it because it's nice to run out of cash to trade. It's just a hard stop on keep me from over trading or revenge trading. So I'm gonna have to sort out how that's gonna work as the account grows. Maybe keep it a cash account and then basically, yeah, I don't know, either keep it quite small. So I'm doing like a third of the account for each trade or a quarter. Because trading 1 or 2% of the entire account would mean it's a much larger account, and then I would be more susceptible to kind of having big red days. So yeah, I could put like a broker stop on it, I guess, after such a big drawdown. I don't know. We'll sort that when we get there. But at this point, the cash account works well for me. Keeps it nice and tight, the losses if it is a red day. First trade was at 12:24, so sat through it Monday. This stupid Chinese virus, it's like circling back through it, half the family. So I'm still healthy from last time, but wow. Okay, so 12:24. Yeah, we didn't have this. Okay, so then it came down and completed the inverse cup. Looking for a handle, potentially an inverse handle. Just kind of grinding around. And I didn't take any trades in here. Didn't take one here. Yeah, I mean, because if you see this without all of that, it's like, yeah, it's just kind of still in the middle of a wedge. and I'll wait for, you know, something more clear. At this point, I did have this white charted as support. I wasn't super confirmed on it, but it did look like this was potential for this kind of very mellow selling channel, which would potentially be bullish. Bulls building liquidity to go up. Excuse me. So it did come up, and I really considered getting calls here. So a couple of reasons I didn't. One, well, it's hard for me after it's made such a relatively big move, but that wouldn't have stopped me, actually. One reason was risk to reward, which I kind of let that go. Even on this trade, I would have been fine with it, because this definitely could have happened without it building a handle, which it did. And so, yeah, risk to reward, I'm kind of letting go a little bit, but a big reason was I wanted more confirmation. I wanted a little safety blanket, so I glanced at Emperor's chart, and he didn't have anything sort of like what I had there, and I was like, oh man, am I off on this? So this support down here, I guess Eric probably didn't either, because I think this is just a copy of Eric's. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I shouldn't have looked at his chart, because I would have been, yeah, it hurt me in this sense. But what's funny is on his chart, he also could have taken a trade at that same spot based on this channel, because he had buying in a more aggressive channel and then it breaking out of, I guess you'd call it a tapering channel or whatever this gold would be, breaking a channel in the same direction, so kind of a breakout trade. So for him, he'd be buying it right here with the stop on this. So it's funny, even though our charts, our lines didn't line up, we both would have had an entry basically at the same spot. And my stop would have just been this, I guess probably this gold. Let's see. Well, because it did all that, yeah, it would have been this gold. That was maybe another reason I wanted to come down a little bit more, get closer to the gold. But most likely would have been one contract, so I would have closed it right here at high. Maybe here, but I feel like I probably would have held till there. Probably closed it there, which would have been a nice trade. Would have totally been worth it. Didn't take it, which I was fine with. I'm like, all right, maybe we get a handle. But at that point on the 30-minute, we were just, this is Eric's 30-minute chart, SPY day trading on YouTube. We were still kind of in this resistance of this line here and just kind of grinding up. And at that point, we just completed the cup. So I'm like, well, there's just a little bit more room if it wants to retest this high and not actually make a nice breakout. So I thought we might be able to just go up without an actual handle. Given this is just, you know, I don't know. I'm just thinking, okay, we're close to that resistance. And unless if this wants to break out of that, it's not going to need a whole lot of liquidity. So it's not going to have to come down and make a big structure to rip if it's just going to hit that as resistance. I didn't take this trade either, but that was my thought process. And that led me into then doing the next trade, which was my first trade on the day. So big green candles, this might have been news, I'm not sure. Big volume, and it actually confirmed my green even more, which I was so pleased with. Hit there, and then big red, I'm like, all right, that's a nice resistance. So then I put it in for support, and I'm like, all right, this green is a good one, I like it. And so, but I'm thinking easy up, easy down. If I miss the move one direction with volatility, maybe I catch it the other way. And so that was my thought. And so I thought, well, that along with on the 30-minute, this candle, it was full bodied, but the candle hadn't closed. And I'm like, this very well could be a resistance up here also. Nice liquidity down here for a shoulder. This looks like a head sprouting up. For that reason, the reason that it hit the top of my green and the easy way it went up, I was like, I want to take a retrace on here. Zone of mutual interest, retracement, whatever you want to call it. Bulls and bears working together to bring it the same direction. So actually I put an order, a limit order on this green candle. I was thinking it probably will come up and retest maybe a little bit. Oftentimes it does. So I put a limit order. It didn't get filled, it kind of melted down. I actually stepped away from the computer, kind of forgot about my limit order. Came back and it filled like right about here. Yeah, it filled like here on this candle. So just the amount of decay from that time, and then also the little volatility on the green candle, it was the same price as it was back here. And it filled, I'm like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I kind of still like the thesis of it. And then I was like, all right, where's my stop going to be? Because I need a hard stop, and I didn't want to be way up here white at that point because we're already down here. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just call this red selling my my stop. And so that's what I did. And define the risk, even if it was wrong. It was green for a little bit, kind of went green, and then kind of broke even, and then I was messing with AI a little bit, and with trading you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, like just get used to being uncomfortable. That's basically what you have to do if you want to be good. And I just was kind of, it was a small trade, it was one contract, but it actually was closer to the money, so it had a little more value, and I just didn't feel like being uncomfortable at that moment. I didn't feel like and it came up here, and I'm like, I broke it. I had my audible, my bell alert, it dinged. I'm like, okay, I'll just wait for it to close. I'm like, I'll wait for it to kind of chill, and then I'm gonna close it. It was basically break even at that point. And with that, I will show you my trades. We actually are green on the day. There they are. Let me actually see the actual minute. What did I say? 12:24. Yeah, so filled on that one. It came up, it wicked, and then on this one it opened up here. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna get out of this thing. Like, these trades, I don't do that often. I feel like it's kind of, I don't do that often, and I was happy I opened it, and especially after I did this, even though I stopped out. I did stop right there, unfortunately. Yeah, 12:32 I stopped out for $1 loss. But I was happy I opened it because it is a trade I'm not very comfortable with, and I'm trying to grow my comfort and grow my confidence. And even though I stopped on it, I liked the thesis behind it, and so I'm pleased that I actually opened it up, and would have stuck with it. I just, now seeing that, hopefully my confidence will grow a little bit, and if I can have a more clear defined stop, that would be nice. Let's see, I wasn't looking on their charts at all today, which I think actually helped, other than that one time I looked there and I'm like, dang it. So it looks like he caught that one too. That's really interesting. So he caught it for a totally different reason. Blue resistance, teal precision. So teal, so basically if it started coming down, then I would have been able to throw in my purple and then have that as my stop. And my target, literally my target, once it started going down, I'm like, oh dang. I was like, well, my target would have been this green. That would have been bottom for me. Like, May would have completed the inverse cup, but that'd be my target with one contract. And I think I would have held for that. I think I would have hit VWAP, and I maybe would have sold, but I very well could have held until there. So that trade would have been nice. I watched the contract pricing, which if you can't control it, if it just builds FOMO, don't. But I'm just doing it for, I guess, data and to see how much these are moving with the delta I picked and that sort of thing. So it did go 100%. Which is not great, but I mean it's pretty good. It seems like such a big move, but today's range is tight that it's not that big of a move. But yeah, stopped on that one, and that was basically, after missing this one, which was fine, that was basically the last trade of the day. So that I see. I mean, we got grind before ahead and then just grinding into close more or less. So next trade was at 138, and this one is what put me, just took back all the profits from that prior one. Wait, let's see. No. Okay, never mind. This is a green trade. This is what made me green. 138 to 139. Oh yeah, this one I had a poor entry. So this I scaled up a little bit for. I did 2 contracts, and it was a little bit bigger. It was one further out of the money, so it was just a little bit bigger contract value. 138. Yeah, right here. So the reason for this is, well, breaking the green for one. Come on. Breaking the green, it did get kind of messy in here. Maybe that's because my green's not perfect, but broke the green. I didn't catch any of this. Bounce, started to build more liquidity with green. And so yeah, I'm basically looking for downside at this point. So I got a shoulder here that's grabbing, but it's kind of making a little mini head and shoulder. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be downside, but bottom of the wedge here, and it's broken it, and now it's doing it again. So that's where I'm looking for another break. And you've got a little head and shoulder here if you want to get micro on it. So I jumped in on this candle with purple being my precision. It was towards the top of this candle. Once that candle before it closed below green, I got in. And it was so fast, I basically just got poor exits because I wasn't ready for the first one. I was thinking low a day for the first exit, and then my next one was going to be this white. So first candle, I actually exited on this candle. So I did this. I'm like quick trying to get over to do it, and it was pretty early on this candle. It wasn't too bad as slippage. I guess it wouldn't really be slippage, but yeah, it wasn't slippage, but it wasn't quite low of day. It was, I mean, it was very close. Yeah, my exits haven't been great the last few trading sessions. So since I had 2 contracts here also, this is what I noticed is I'm more eager, I guess, to close the first one, and I'm not holding it quite with the same conviction or gusto. I don't know what word to use. But if I just had one, I'd maybe a little, not necessarily more greedy, but more confident to hold it longer. But that first one, I was like, all right, I've got 2. I'm just going to close one here. It's basically low a day. These next 2 candles was like another 20 or something % though. So this fully made low of day. Unfortunately, I didn't hold both of them till then. Closed one here for a little profit. 25 cents to 34 cents on that one. It was like 40 cents in here in the 40s, like low 40s. And then this volatile candle, they were definitely 50s or 60s. I can't quite remember. But at that point, I'm like, okay, well, now I'm either going to close the bottom as white or if it breaks my purple. And that was my defined risk. And it basically broke the purple almost right away, which was good for me because then I'm getting out. I'm not messing around. I mean, if it went down, of course, that'd be better. But this one was a little better exit because it was later. It was 38 cents at 143. So yeah, it was this candle right here. Unfortunately, this was kind of a green exit also. This one would have been nice because it had volatility. But that's my thought process. Like, okay, it's come down here. It's made the inverse cup. It might make a handle here, and that's why I'm pretty tight on exiting completely. It starts to build liquidity. I don't want any part of it. What I didn't have at that point was that white line. So that's another reason why I was more, or I wasn't exiting on those volatile red candles because I'm thinking this might just come down here first. So once I put in that white line, because I could see it was starting to kind of sell in that same pattern, that same channel, which is pretty ugly. Then I was like, okay, that's more obvious. I definitely should have closed on any bit of red candle. So the 2 exits weren't great. It was a very fast move. Missed it from here to here, which is fine. Happy I caught it here, I guess. Need to tighten up my exits there. Just, yeah, it kind of just went against me, I guess, a little bit. It wasn't necessarily. I liked that I was going to wait until it broke purple because sometimes I'll exit and then I'm like, why'd I exit? It's staying in this steep selling and then it'll come way further. And I'm like, I should just wait for it to break something. So yeah, that's that one. And then, so I was green a little bit. It was a small day, but I'm like, you know, let's keep going. So next trade, I also took 2 contracts and this was actually, yeah, this was sized up a little bit also. So these were 42 cents each and at 205. So this one, okay, this one, the sizing up made more sense. The last one, it made sense because it was a little cheaper because it was for that money. This one was, this was actually just sizing up because it had completed this inverse cup. And then it's at 205. Let me see. Yeah. So this one, oh, this is also that white channel I didn't have in there yet until it did this ugly move. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I copied and put it in there. I'm like, it's selling in this white. That's disgusting. So 205, I bought it on this break of the green. Again, this could be the handle for this inverse cup. Here's our cup. Here's our handle. Breaking green. I've got purple for selling. And I buy it and it just big old engulfing green candle after that. And I'm like, no. So 42 cents to 34, unfortunately. I sold on that next candle, I think. 07. Yeah, I sold on this candle. And then I'm like, what's going on here? Like, complete false break. And then I'm like, wait, it's not, it's breaking, it's just selling in a much more mellow channel, which I don't want to be part of. I mean, futures there, yeah, or spreads, but I mean, I'm not even interested in that. So that was that last trade, which basically brought me almost back to break even. And then I was pretty much out of buying power, so kind of a blessing because definitely could have got trapped in here. It did end up So broke the green, did end up kind of finding a resistance, but as you see, it's not perfect. It's kind of busting through each time. But even for this trade for puts, like where are you going to enter it, at least for my lines? I guess where green converges with white, it's up here, but there's not a great structure that I would be confident in with doing this. So basically, okay, you're going to sell it, buy puts here. Where's your stop? If it's this green resistance, I mean, you could be screwed. This thing could just grind all the way up to literally white, but then you'd run out of time. So if you do it up here, okay, with green resistance, but then it's going to keep testing it, and like, when do you actually do it? So then you have to wait for it to break green again, and that's kind of like where it's here. Again, if there's nice structure, if you had a nice head here first to grab all the shoulder, then sure. So yeah, if you got on a resistance here, I guess you could say on the orange. Really, it'd have to be on this green. I saw this. I didn't want it. I didn't like the structure. I like time of day, but it actually confirmed that this white, look, it like perfectly hit my white. So I thought about actually taking a bounce trade here, but I'm glad I didn't, because it was just ugly into close. I did a couple trades on the big account, just small little stops. It did end up coming down, but this also was ugly. It's in the final 10 minutes, and it finally broke that white, and I was like, that's all you got. Yeah, not my favorite exit or end of day. But I'm green and I'm grateful. So thanks for watching, guys. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy money sticks around. See you tomorrow. Peace out.